2025 MLK Day of Service is making an impact across South Carolina, from a statewide read-along to book distribution supporting early literacy.
Joining us this morning is Ann Vanderbilt, Executive Director of South Carolina First Steps. Ann, thank you so much for being here. You know, a very important day today to honor the life and legacy of Dr. King. So talk about how First Steps is getting involved.
Well, today, or really throughout the week, we have about 80 volunteers reading I Try in honor and in celebration of Dr. Martin Luther King, and that is largely done through our AmeriCorps program. We have 50 AmeriCorps volunteers that are part of the South Carolina First Step team throughout the year that are serving children from age birth to 5. And this week the focus is really on pre-literacy and service through these volunteer reading opportunities.
And talk about the focus on literacy specifically. Why target literacy?
Well, literacy as a whole, and in particular pre-literacy, you know, young children learning their letters and their sounds and learning a love of reading is just so important. And especially, really, it's just never too young to start. So start reading to those little ones from age birth all the way through age 5. The more exposure to language and words, the more ready for school young children will be. And this week the book is I Try by Susie Brooks, which is about resiliency, which we think is a really great fit for today's celebration.
Absolutely. Talk about how people can get involved. You mentioned, you know, volunteers for these services. So how can the community get involved with you guys?
Oh, sure. Well, I mean, really, probably our biggest ask is just anybody that's working with young children, make reading a regular part of your day and your routine. And in terms of helping South Carolina First Steps as a whole, you can visit our website and learn about opportunities throughout the year to not only support the work at the state level, but really across South Carolina. There are First Step partnerships in every county in South Carolina.
And then talk about specifically for this week, how will it work? You're going to be having kids read aloud, but talk about how it's going to work, and then they can be acknowledged almost.
Sure. So there's 80 adult readers, local and state level legislators. We're thankful to Enterprise, who's offered several of their volunteers to go into preschool classrooms in our 4K, which is your state funded preschool program, again across South Carolina, to read I Try as part of a week-long storytelling event to celebrate Dr. Martin Luther King.
Absolutely. And in celebrating him, as you mentioned, the importance of literacy and spreading that message. So just, you know, give parents some tips as far as when they're starting early with their children, the types of books that they're reading. Is it important for them to be able to read out loud as well, the children?
Yes, well, as they get older. So in the beginning, again, it's just never too young. When you're reading to a young child, really, you can read anything. And what really young children are looking for is even just the expression in your face, the joy of reading. Books are great, and there certainly are age-appropriate books that you can find at a bookstore. There's so many great public libraries, and librarians can help you with those age-appropriate books. But really the most important just thing is that adult-child interaction. Read anything, enjoy it, emphasize the sounds, the colors, the pictures, and make it part of your daily routine. It doesn't need to be a big deal. Before you go to bed, or when you wake up, or maybe it's before or after nap time, but just reading as often as possible and really enjoying that time with your child.
Yeah, reading can definitely change your mindset. Talk about service.
Sure.
Dr. King offered his service. Talk about, you know, the organization and what it kind of hopes to implement when it's teaching and being involved with young people.
Sure. So for us, that really comes through the country's AmeriCorps program. We utilize the program. We have 50 members of our team are through the AmeriCorps program, and that's really a service that occurs throughout the year. They're a big part of this week's celebration. Our AmeriCorps team members really took the lead on this week's storytelling event, and so we're really kind of committed to service, of course, on this special day, but really throughout the year.
Absolutely, Ann. And you know what? The MLK Week of Service is happening all week long. Volunteers will come together for a statewide read aloud and book distribution. Registration to volunteer is now open. Of course, for the full interview, it'll be on our website. Go there, wistv.com. Thank you, Ann, so much for joining us this morning here on Sunrise.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you so much.
All right, stay with us. We have more news and weather after this.